I want you to meet Ed. This is Ed. Ed appeared in our homeless management information system in 2006. He was living in an encampment and would come in occasionally, about once a year, to a shelter for some reason, because of the weather, something else that was going on in his life. Ed had a divorce, and it sent him into a tailspin. He lost hope. He almost lost other things too. When he came into the Day Center for the Homeless in 2012, December of 2012, he had severe frostbite. He had been living in the encampment and the cold was just too much, and he faced almost certain amputation. Thankfully, the great people at the Day Center for the Homeless, the nurses and the case managers that were there, literally nursed him back to health. Put up with a lot in that time, but they helped him not have to face amputation, and they helped him to connect to housing as well. Ed was at the Day Center for 6 months and 1 day. But on that next day, Restore Hope Ministries, the agency that I serve, helped him to move into housing. And he hasn't been back since. You see, Ed was one of the people who the Department of Housing and Urban Development called chronically homeless. Somebody who's been homeless for a total of a year, or who has about 4 instances of homelessness in a period of 3 years. For Ed, it was far more than that. He connected with our homeless management information system over almost 200 times in the time that he was homeless. And the impact of chronic homelessness is huge. There were approximately, when Ed was chronically homeless, were approximately 114 people in our community that met that definition. And the impact on them is obviously massive. Ed faced a traumatic health crisis, but the impact on our community is great too. The estimate is that the impact of one chronically homeless individual is about $50,000 in emergency room visits, healthcare crises, encounters with the police, and other things. The state of Connecticut they did a research study on the 400 or so chronically homeless individuals in that state, $28 million economic impact. But worse than that, it's a personal impact. There are far too many people like Ed. Thankfully, Ed was not one of them, but there are far too many of those chronically homeless individuals that die every single year. So what's the solution? Well, one solution that I hear pretty often is that we can do nothing. That these are the most hardened of the homeless individuals in our community, and that there's nothing we can do, that they're hopeless, they don't want to come in. My faith will not allow me to say that. My faith simply will not allow me to say that somebody is hopeless. So that's not a solution. There's another group of people who say that we need to clean these folks up. We need to help them to have the success that they need. We need to get them towards stability. And so we need to give them counseling, substance abuse, mental health, etc. And I can see the logic in that. But the logic of ending homelessness, the true solution to homelessness, is housing. The only way to truly end homelessness is by helping people move into homes. And so Tulsa is trying to do that. A Way Home for Tulsa is a group of 21 different agencies that are trying to fight homelessness, trying to push back against this homeless group, this thing that's happening in our community. So we entered a program called Zero 2016. We're one of 75 communities in the country that are trying to help those who are veterans not be homeless anymore, and to try to eradicate chronic homelessness as well. We set a goal for ourselves in 2015 that we would house 289 veterans. You can see that we beat that. We set a goal that we would try to house 95 chronically homeless individuals by the end of this year, by the end of 2016. You can see that by the end of 2015, we had already housed 78. And you're one of the first groups to see that lower number. Not even the Way Home for Tulsa folks have seen that. 84 chronically homeless people have been housed by a Way Home for Tulsa since last year. It's incredible. But it's incredible agencies that are making this happen. My friend Tracy Lyle from Divis is here today. There are 21 different agencies that are a part of a Way Home for Tulsa. Restore Hope Ministries is part of that. It's everything from us who are working on prevention to those who are shelters, those who are housing providers, mental health counselors, etc. We're trying to work together as a team because it's going to take a team effort to make this problem solved. It's going to take people coming together to break down barriers and create new pathways into housing. It's going to take a community. Because, friends, the problem is still massive. Last year alone, 6,500 unique individuals encountered homelessness. Now, most of them were homeless for less than a week, some for just a night. But 6,500 unique individuals in Tulsa, Oklahoma were homeless for some point. I talked with the shelters and they said they saw record utilization last year, record one-night counts, a record year, more people who were homeless than ever before at their shelter, more meals served in a year. And just last month, I heard that the Tulsa public school system had 1,749 kids in their system that were homeless. Our friends at Union Public Schools, we heard from Dr. Hartzler earlier, they have a team of people working to help those who are homeless in their school system. He said there are approximately 1,000 in the Union Public School system. Friends, this is simply unacceptable. But it's also solvable. Friends, if we can put somebody on the moon, and bring them back, then we can eradicate chronic homelessness. And also with our God, all things are possible. If we can do those things, we can eradicate chronic homelessness. We can make all homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. We may need shelters. We'll likely need shelters going forward. But we can make their stay there brief, and we can help them not come back. We did it for Ed. Ed has not connected with the Homeless Management Information System since 2013. The last input on his record is that he was housed by Restore Hope Ministries. Ed was homeless for nearly a decade, nearly 200 connections with the homeless system, but he's not anymore. Now Ed has a job. Now Ed has reconnected with the family that once disowned him. Now Ed is leading AA groups, the place where he lives, and at other centers here in town. Ed, you might say, is now chronically housed. If we can solve Ed's chronic homelessness, we can do it for others too. And you can help. You can help by connecting with an agency like Restore Hope or Divis. You can find us on social media. We put some great stories out there. You can also go to 02016tulsa.com and find out how you can plug in with A Way Home for Tulsa and the other agencies that are working to fight homelessness. You can tell people what you've learned, and you can plug in. Homelessness is a solvable problem, and you can help us solve it. Thank you.